Hi and welcome to Evette, and today we have a question about a 10-year-old child, little girl, that is struggling with gallbladder problems. Hi guys and welcome! My name is Evette Rose, author of Metaphysical Anatomy, which is a book of 679 medical ailments when I discovered that we as a global nation share certain emotional traumas and triggers globally that's caused and contributed to certain ailments, also suffering, and we all share that collectively. So guys, welcome here to Ask Evette episode, and here we have a question from a lady that asked about gallbladder problems in a 10-year-old child, and especially now this is also a female. What is interesting is because this ailment is, it's a gallbladder problem, you would normally expect to see that in more of, adults rather than actually children. So when you look at any ailment that a child has, the first question that I would normally ask and places that I would start to investigate is the womb stages of the child. What was happening to the mom? What was her diet like? Maybe what emotional stress was she going through? And also by looking at the emotional stress perhaps that both of this child's parents are going through. Because remember, as a child, they are super sensitive. They're like sponges. They absorb stress around them. They take in everything from them because their brain is also on super high alert with the intention to learn. Now, with that curiosity to learn comes also the awareness of taking in the good, but it also takes in the bad. And so it can cause, certain habits and patterns to be copied, to be taken on emotionally, energetically as well. So sometimes when you look at, when an adult problem surfaces in a child, you could be looking at the psychosomatics, the patterns of the psychosomatics of gallbladder problems, which you'll be looking at for an adult and seeing, is this maybe the emotional psychosomatics that the child's parent is going through? And if the parent's going through that, then that would make a lot of sense as to why this child might actually show the ailment, like almost like the physical expression of the accumulated emotional psychosomatic stress that the parent's feeling, because the child is also taking that on. And the child is also, the child's body is almost like expressing, right? It's expressing what's going on in his or her environment, which could be, a lot of stress that moms may be going through. It could be a lot of stress that dad's going through. It's not necessarily that it's being taken out on the child, not at all. It could just be completely independent stress factors that both parents are really struggling with, maybe in their relationship, maybe with work, maybe they have their own personal challenges that they're going through at the time. So it's important to look at, when did the gallbladder problems start? What was the child's diet like? Because if the child's diet is, for example, very similar to the diet that the mother had when she was pregnant with the child, which could have been, a lot of high in fat, a lot of cholesterol problems, then bringing these two combined together, of course, it's going to reinforce a possibility of gallbladder problems starting, because the child's predisposition in the biological makeup has already been so heightened and so exposed to high levels of cholesterol and fat from the mom's diet perhaps, that by adding also extra high levels of fat to her diet could trigger the ailment. It could trigger this condition from coming forward, because the body is now reached a threshold. It's saturated with having to cope with certain nutrition. Also, this happens a lot more in girls than what it happens in boys as well, which is quite interesting, and I'll get to that in a minute. So here you could potentially also be looking at lack of nutrition during womb stages as well. Now, what can happen in that case is it doesn't mean that the mom is at fault or that she did anything wrong. It could really just be that she did eat well, but her environment was stressing her so much, because look at gallbladder psychosomatics. You're looking at resentment, you're looking at a hardening of the attitude. There's something that you feel you have to defend yourself against. You need to insulate or protect yourself from something that you perceive as being either unhealthy, unsafe, emotionally or physically. And so, and that can actually be a relationship with yourself. So even looking at the mom's relationship with herself during the time when she was pregnant with this child. And so it could be that there was lack of nutrition because the body was in such a state of fight or flight, in such a state of distress, that it depleted the nutrition from the food that the mother had, leaving almost little to nothing left for the child. And so that cycle could have continuously been repeated. And so if the child needed to be given extra nutrition after birth, this would also then be a very high indication that this condition obviously is coming from the mom's side, where she's had a lot of unresolved stress during her time of pregnancy that overlapped into the child, biologically, meaning through lack of nutrition, as well as also emotional stress. Because remember that the placenta is not a barrier between the mother and the child. I've been saying this for years. We finally found the research that proves that. And the protein cells in the lining of the placenta is already absorbing the mother's stress. It's recording that. And the protein cells in the placenta is responsible for the health and the development, not just the placenta, but the development of the child. Hello, right? That makes a lot of sense now. So look at Metaphysical Anatomy Volume 1. You can also have a look at you can read up there more about the gallbladder problems for adults. But you can also have a look at gallbladder problems video that I have at evetterose.com and my YouTube channel if you want to have a look at more stress factors and aspects that's been going on there that's now overlapping into the child. There's something that's now overflowing from mom or dad, but more so probably from mom if this happened from the womb stages, but also by asking when did the gallbladder problems start, and then looking at what was going on around the child at the time, and what was the child's diet like, what was the mother's diet like during her pregnancy as well. So guys, I hope that helps. That was such a great question. Keep asking these awesome questions, and until next time, be the light that you are. Hi guys, thank you for joining me, and remember to grab your copy of Metaphysical Anatomy on Amazon, 679 medical ailments. And I also wrote about the psychosomatic root causes of that, and I'm spoiling you because I even added key points for you to start looking at important questions that you can ask yourself to start improving your quality of life. And also remember to catch me on Instagram, Evette Rose, 1 with the digit 1, and Metaphysical Anatomy on our Facebook fan page. Bye guys!